Thanks everyone for joining me to another instalment of FinTech Making Sense of Data. I'm joined today by Kathleen Bayles, Senior Director of Business Intelligence and Data Analytics at Happy Money. Good to see you again, Kathleen.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Great. We've spoken quite a few times about numerous things, but there's a lot we haven't covered, so I think that'd be good to talk about today. And one of the things I haven't asked you before is, what is it that attracted you to the world of lending that you're currently doing now? What was it that brought you into the space?
Well, during my college studies, I received a scholarship from a large banking group in South Africa, and it was to complete my studies in information technology and accounting. When I completed my studies, I went through an accelerated program with the Nedcor banking group and got to spend time in different divisions of the bank. As part of that accelerated program, I was exposed to lots of different types of lending products, everything from personal to auto loans, lines of credit, and mortgages. It really gave me the opportunity to understand the nuances of providing different types of loans to individuals, or even going to extending large credit facilities to bigger corporations. I really enjoyed understanding how to manage risk for those different types of lending products, and got to understand how the risk could be swayed by both internal decisioning and external factors in the market. I really enjoyed the corporate banking risk analytics and understanding the business cycles of the companies that we lent to and how that could ultimately affect their risk profile. I also worked to predict how that risk profile could change over time, and that proved to be a very, very difficult process. I usually spent hours collecting data in spreadsheets, and I felt like I never had enough time to analyze the data as much as I wanted to, because I was spending so much time curating the data. And then over time, I started to build models in Excel using VBA to try and speed up the data collection process. But ultimately, I left Nedcor Bank having learned a lot, and then really pursued that idea of how do we collect and curate data and gain better insight to the data, making it easier, not spending so much time gathering, but actually spending the time reading the analytics. And so I joined a consulting group in South Africa that worked on decision support, business intelligence initiatives for companies. And I ended up consulting and working with a number of large banks in South Africa to stand up decision support software for them and help streamline data pipelines for them. After moving to the US, I spent many years working for consulting groups in their BI and data analytics practices. And then when I was given the opportunity to work for Happy Money, I was really excited to get back to my banking and lending roots.
Oh, cool. It's excellent to hear about your journey in the space and how you've ended up with Happy Money. And now you're there. You're with Happy Money. How is your team of BI analysts making an impact for Happy Money?
Sure. So just a little bit of background on Happy Money. We're a financial technology company, and we offer a people-first lending experience in partnership with credit unions in the US. Our vision of transforming the industry comes to life through our connected platform of financial partners who help offer a happier digital lending experience that meets the needs of today's customers. Through automation and proprietary underwriting models, we offer flexible rates and payment plans that work best for borrowers' unique financial situations. And we are actually working to expand the reach of our core product, the payoff loan for credit card debt reduction, to even more consumers via our embedded financial services. So my team, the BI team at Happy Money, we work as a centralized team, and we're involved in the majority of our company-wide initiatives from a monitoring and analytical perspective. My team makes an impact by ensuring we have adequate reporting and monitoring in place for both our internal and our external stakeholder groups. oftentimes we get involved early on in the projects to make sure we are gathering the right data up front to ensure we can use the data to build out better analytics for better informed decision making. Our projects can be quite diverse. We work on a wide variety of reporting for our capital partners and affiliate partners, but also work closely with all our internal stakeholder groups to ensure we have the right reporting in place built out around their business functions. We get involved in ensuring adequate monitoring is in place when, for instance, we roll out new features, new pricing or credit policies. We work closely with the product organization too to help monitor impact on, the funnel. We help with A/B testing initiatives. Where we can use data to automate manual processes, that's where the BI team really loves to get involved to make work easier for everyone.
Oh, cool. It's great to hear some of the stuff that you and your team are up to. And I know working, as part of a centralized team, you're going to have to cooperate with other areas of data. So, when you're collaborating with engineering, science, product, risk, what are some of the challenges that come about when you have to work with other functions?
That's a really good question. I think when working with the different cross-functional groups, what can be challenging is really understanding the bigger picture, right? So lots of different teams involved and really keeping the end goal in mind. A lot of teams are grappling with their own agendas, tight time frames, deadlines. And so sometimes stepping back and just ensuring everybody's on the same page and that the correct requirements have been gathered up front is really important. And it can also be challenging because each group is coming at the problem from a different angle. Certain key stakeholders may want certain metrics built out, but maybe due to challenges or just the nature or grain of the data, that may not be possible, right? So I think a lot of times the people working on the front end may not understand what the stakeholders want measured downstream. And so it is important to work really closely with both the product, engineering, data science, and risk organization leads to ensure as new initiatives are kicked off and new services are stood up, that there's adequate communication on what constitutes the measurements of success and how to ensure that is actually available in the data, right? So tight collaboration and communication is key. The BI and data analytics teams are often the team that bridges the gap between what needs to be measured versus what can actually be measured, and then determining the next steps on how we change that in order to get to the right desired end state.
Yeah, thank you, Kathleen. I think a lot of people who've worked in similar situations will understand those challenges and definitely empathize with those as well. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what you guys are doing in the fintech space, and obviously reporting is incredibly important, and particularly in working with financial technology, speed is important as well. Time is of the essence. So what steps can you take to make sure that reporting is done in the most time effective manner possible?
So yes, I couldn't agree more with your statement, right? Speed to market. The way things operate nowadays, people want things yesterday. And so it's definitely a challenge when you're working in like a fast-paced fintech like Happy Money. I think, bringing data analysts in early on to understand the business process can really help when it's time to set up reporting or analytics around that process. It will save headaches down the road if the data requirements are carefully and comprehensively addressed. I think oftentimes the data analysts are not always actively engaged until the very end of a particular project or initiative, and then are expected to build out analytics with only a sparse understanding of the business process. I also believe iterating quickly whilst working closely with stakeholders and making sure there's that continuous feedback loop is imperative. I think gone are the days of this waterfall situation where you're given requirements and then there's a lot of time trying to get the data and the visualizations done. I think having small things to show the stakeholders and iterating And having that feedback loop is really what makes some of the work we do successful. Our stakeholder groups at Happy Money are extremely data driven, and then the need to access data and insights sooner rather than later is achieved by making sure we gather requirements in the same manner. So all our internal stakeholders know we have a specific intake form for requirements, and then that really helps us understand what needs to be built out. And then we work really closely with all the subject matter experts on the business side to make sure we understand the requirements and then focus on what is most critical to be built out first and then to iterate.
Yeah, thank you, Kathleen. There's obviously a lot of moving parts when it comes to delivering something with speed and getting things out on time. And I think one of those things you spoke about there is feedback loop, which is really significant. That helps move things along. Most people I speak to put a lot of emphasis on that, so it's great to hear from you as well. And now, one of the things we've spoken about in the past was the emergence of data intel, becoming almost a hybrid name for data science and business intelligence, which you were the first person to introduce me to that, so I was really interested in it, and I wanted to understand, are you seeing this become more commonplace? Is it emerging now more in the market?
I definitely see it's starting to emerge in the market, right? So I think gone are the days where like the BI and analytics tools and teams were strictly writing reports and setting up dashboards. It's gotten a little bit further than that almost, where we're getting embedded with the business, we're getting embedded more closely with the engineering teams early on. And my team at Happy Money truly uses data to drive intelligent decision making, whether it be setting up predictive analytics or trying to wrangle disparate data sets, or working really closely with the product org to measure impact of various initiatives. My team sits in the same organization, I think I told you before, as the data science team and the risk organization. And the risk organization is really driving the lending side of the business. So I think having those three prongs under the same umbrella truly is the epitome of data intelligence. Since the risk organization defines the policies and KPIs for the business, we then work to ensure we understand the data driving the business processes and then how to measure the KPIs effectively, and disseminating that out to the rest of the organization, while the data science team is looking at how to scale and optimize those KPIs with their models. So I think the synergy and the feedback between the three groups enables us to progress and succeed in the lending industry. And so our umbrella is under that data intelligence term.
Yeah, I think data intelligence is going to become a more commonly used phrase, particularly in financial technology and financial services. Who knows, it could branch out into other areas as well. But I definitely think we'll see a rise in that, whether it's data intel or referred to as something else. This hybrid of roles and responsibilities will definitely take shape in the near future, I think. And now, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, as opposed to most people, is what are you most excited about in your space? So what are you excited about for the future of business intelligence?
Yeah, I really enjoy the BI and data analytics field. I've been in it, over 20 years. And it's really come such a long way since I entered the field. With the advent of cloud data platforms, we no longer need to worry about on-prem constraints when storing and getting access to data. Technology's gotten so much better on how we load data. Not having to worry about how do I make sure I'm loading my data while the users are querying it. And so having access to all the data all the time is now very much a reality, which is super exciting. From when I started, where we had to really think about our ETL processes and how to handle that around the times people needed access to the data. So it's just really exciting the way the field has moved the last 5 years. And I'm also really excited about the augmented analytics powered by AI and machine learning, this is really going to allow more non-technical people to create advanced data analytics models quickly, and without the need for a top-heavy technical team of data engineers and analysts. For me, I feel like the more people that can have access to BI tools, the better, as it will lead to better collaboration, better decision-making in the long run. I think as our BI tools continue to improve and data quality and accuracy gets better due to advancements in the data space, we can get better at predicting market conditions, consumer and member behavior, and really start using analytics to look forward, in addition to, the retrospective look back on, trends and performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you touched on there the new technologies and tools that are around now, that comparatively even a few years ago, it's huge steps, and I hear this from not only yourself but a lot of people. And of course, AI. I mean, the last year has been a huge change for everybody, particularly with the emergence of generative AI being almost in the palm of most people's hands. So yeah, I agree with you there. Going to be a fascinating few years, if not a couple of months as well. So yeah, really appreciate your insight into that, Kathleen. And it's been good to hear about your journey through the financial space with business intelligence and analytics, and what you guys are doing at Happy Money as well. It sounds really cool, really exciting stuff. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me on.
No problem at all. We'll speak again very soon. But yeah, that's been Kathleen Bayles. Thank you very much.